know who is the chair of the
So
finance.
let me just state this. This is a mayor's presentation, and I understand you want to have questions, and we will have our turn when it comes to voting. You will have as many time as you want to ask questions, and your answers will be given. Again, this is a presentation. He is here. He gave a presentation. We all have questions. I don't want to take the time away to discuss something else when we can actually be using the time to ask the questions. So I am going to start the timer on you now, if
I
you want.
understand,
All right.
Councilman, you were
So
5 minutes late. Budget started 5 minutes late because you were late.
Right, Council President, let me
I
ask you a
will,
question.
I will get to you, Councilman Brescher. Again, we will delay
You
the,
cannot, as I said, like, you cannot time anybody's time on this line item.
again, I said we will all get 5 minutes, then we'll open it up for everybody else
This is not
again.
your choice. As I said, like, this is a special meeting just for the budget presentation. Unless you want to adjourn and mayor can leave this place, and then you start the council meeting, and then next time when we are under adoption, mayor can come and answer all the questions.
Okay, so I
If
am.
mayor don't want to face the question, he doesn't have the balls, so it
But
be.
I am the chair here, and I do control the meeting, and I do get to recognize who gets to speak. So do you have questions that you would like to
Of
ask?
course,
And finally, I'm going to go to free speech. I believe that this administration, okay, and this body has taken many steps to stifle free speech. We celebrated, or we honored Memorial Day that we just had, okay, and everybody talks about honoring the people that served. One of the main things that people serve is our right to free speech, our original Constitution, okay? And what we don't do here at this body, what this mayor does not do, what this township does not do, was we don't allow free speech. So when people online disagree with the mayor and his policies, it looks like he has somebody that would file charges and go to court, where the woman is going to court with the judge that is the mayor's friend's daughter. I mean, I don't know how more blatantly corrupt this looks. And this goes back to even our Christo that we have that comes. I understand if I were in law enforcement and he was taking that much of my time, right? I do understand that it could be annoying from a managerial perspective to spend so much time with one resident. But in seeing some of the charges that were brought against him, they're crazy. They never would have worked. Yet we spent law enforcement hours. I can't believe that our prosecutor's office is even looking at something like this. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. While we still have, I think we still have police officers that are out for stealing time. Must be 5, 6, 7 years. I have no clue. But it's like when somebody's critical, we look to stifle them. We look to shut them down. We don't like what they have to say. But if people come up and they say something nice, no one has a problem with that. And like I've said before, it is my generation that opened up that Pandora's box. And unfortunate for everybody is that us as elected officials shouldn't be looking at a way to stifle public comment. And I know we did that, and the lawyer put some kind of, I'm going to call it gibberish, to be quite honest with you, about the quorum. If you read the court case and they talk about a guy wearing a mask and he said the word hell, okay, and he was being removed, that has no bearing on this body whatsoever as far as decorum. I mean, that is such a stretch. I would challenge any legal person to say that that's the reason why you can shut someone up, or not have them arrested, but you could have them removed, which is even more bizarre. So with the comment of having them removed without having them arrested, that just tells you the level of non-transparency that we have here in this town, okay? And like I said, with the police officers, where they had the people on the bus and they were stopping them, this all starts at the top, right? This all starts with the mayor. You know, when the mayor starts his propaganda or rhetoric, he elicits hate, okay? And this country here has so much hate, we don't need it any longer. We need people that are looking to kind of unite people and looking to, we should look the other way on a lot of things, but we don't do that nowadays. This is just all about, we can go after somebody politically, we can hurt people politically if they don't fall in line, which goes against transparency and the Constitution. So, you know, unfortunately, you know, until this stuff gets resolved, until our resident gets his court cases resolved, you know, I'm going to continue fighting for free speech. I think it's an important thing. I know my relatives served, you know. Most of us up here probably have relatives that served. My uncle served, landed in Omaha Beach. I mean, Utah Beach, another state. But they did it, and they did it for this free speech. They did it for our Constitution. So I'd like everybody up here to just maybe take a step back on that and allow the public to say what they have to say. Most of them don't really have ill intent when they come here. So that would be it, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Brescher.
All right, on the issue that, this is to piggyback on what Councilman Brescher was saying about decorum. And in this case, what happened at the last meeting with Christo, or Anonymous, or whatever name we want to give him, he came with a mask of Joker. Now, was the mask grotesque? Yes. Is it provocative? Yes. But one of my favorite sayings is, you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. And I think that when we submit to this sort of shock value behavior in a way that there was nothing really threatening about this. We all knew who it was. I think he is entitled to do that. And as he has said, and I think it's a good point, if a woman came up to the podium wearing a hijab or a full burqa, are we going to ask her to remove that so she can be seen? If a man or woman came up with a completely tattooed face so that you really couldn't distinguish their characteristics, would we not allow them to speak? So I'm really one who believes in the First Amendment. I am consistent on this. Back in 1979, I was 24 years old, lived in Highland Park, Illinois, and was close to the town of Skokie, Illinois. Skokie at the time was a very primarily Jewish town. The neo-Nazis planned a march there in 1979. And as much as abhorrent as I felt that what the American Nazi, what the neo-Nazis stood for, and the fact that we were only at that point 24 years removed from the Nazi regime in Europe, I still was one that, as much as I hated what they stood for, I believed that they had the right to march. And so I'd like us to really consider, I think we are making mountains out of molehills when we mix it up with Christo/Anonymous. We make mountains out of molehills with that. And I think that we just let him come up with that Joker mask, let him speak. Let him speak, let him have his piece say his piece for the 6 minutes. I don't think this would be an issue, but instead, we gin this whole thing up unnecessarily, and I would like us as a council body to respond better, to behave better with this. And so I don't want to have to address the decorum issue anymore. I'm tired of it, but it keeps coming up. And I feel like we are not doing our due diligence to handle this better. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Councilman Patel?